decision can change again?
Well, it will take up to 7 years to remove the Huawei equipment, and that's a really long time. So with a change in government, which the earliest possible time for that would be in 4 years, a new government could certainly change its mind. But the current Johnson administration in the UK decided that the Five Eyes relationship and the relationship to the US overall was more important than the relationship with China and Huawei.
So we're talking a few years here and billions of dollars. Will the UK really be behind in its 5G transition? Will there be a bigger cost for the UK in terms of catching up to this technology?
Well, the existing vendors in Europe, Ericsson and Nokia, will do their best to make up the gap that will exist due to Huawei having to bow out. Okay. So it's quite likely that there will be delays and that it will be more expensive, as Huawei is one of the low-cost providers. But ultimately, I don't think that the United Kingdom will be more than a year or two behind what we will see in otherwise. But we have also then the European providers as well, carriers, and we'll see if this UK decision will influence other countries in Europe to follow suit.
Well, talking about that decision, what does this actually mean for the company, for Huawei, when it comes to the rest of Europe and the West? How does this impact them?
It will make life certainly more difficult for Huawei in continental Europe. In the rest of the world, especially in Africa and in Asia, it will not impact Huawei at all. And what we can basically foresee here is Huawei doubling down on those markets where it's already enjoying tremendous strength.
What do you think banning Huawei will do to China-UK relations right now, especially when it comes to other areas like trade and Brexit to contend with?
It will certainly chill the relationship between Beijing and London, especially when we also take into account the situation in Hong Kong, where the UK has a particular historic interest. So this relationship certainly has seen better days, and we hope that the relationship doesn't completely crash over this.
And Roger, we have about a minute left. I gotta ask you, there was U.S. pressure behind this move. What happens then if there is a change in leadership here in the U.S., especially after the presidential election? How does this factor into it all?
I don't think this will change the U.S. position significantly. There's a considerable bipartisan consensus in Congress, and the U.S. intelligence community is also unified in its concern about Huawei. So I don't think that a change in administrations in the United States would change anything.